Hello everyone. In this session we will go to see the what is dynamic workflow system project all about. Okay. So the agenda for today is we will be going through the overview of the project. What is the project all about? What is the current scenario? I mean, what is the problem that we are facing in the existing system? Then we will be going for a proposed solution. What is the solution that we are proposing? What would be the block diagram of the project, and what is the flow chart? Flow chart will give you the what is the flow of the data, or what is the flow of the control. Technical implementation, in which technology the project is being implemented, and some details about the technology. The hardware and software requirements, what are the different hardware requirements for this project and the software requirements for this project. What features this project provides, and using that features, what are the advantages to the users or to the organization, and what is the future development to this project, and finally the application where this project can be used. Okay, so let's go to the first agenda of this today, that is the overview. Now basically a dynamic workflow system is based on the concept of green IT. Now when you say a green IT, okay, so it's basically something that is eco-friendly, that is not harming to the environment. So when I say a green IT is basically we are implementing a IT, okay, but in terms of in a greener way, that is we are not hampering the environment. So how this basically it's in a green way. Basically in today's scenario, most of the application are done using a paper. Okay, so now paper is indirectly made from trees. Okay, now for to make a paper we have to cut down the trees, and then there is a long process. So basically indirectly we are hampering the environment. So in using this project there will be no need to use a paper. Okay, so if we are not using any paper, there will be no longer cutting of trees, and that's why indirectly we are saving the environment. So that is basically a green IT. Okay, so the second point, as I already explained, many deals request approvals are done on papers. Okay, now dynamic workflow system will be a web based portal. Okay, it's a online system where a user can apply for a request through an online form. Okay, so the paper application and all those things will not come into picture. Again, in case of a paper application, if user submitted once the application, he is not aware of the status. What is the status, where it's pending, and with whom it's pending. But with the dynamic workflow system, user can know the status at any point of time. Okay. Again, it will avoid a mismanagement, delay in approval, mistakes and errors. Okay, so since this process will be automated, okay, it will be automated, the mistakes and the delay will be reduced to a greater extent. Let's see your current scenario. In most of the organization, many request approvals are done through a paperwork. So basically this has already been explained. All the things are done using a paper. Now this involves a lot of mistakes. So when you are doing something, filling a form and all those things, so there is a mistakes involved. So what you have to do, you have to refill the form again. So there is a more wastage of paper. There is no transparency in the request approval procedure. Okay, the point to be highlighted here is, once you have submitted the application, you are not aware, user is not aware where his application has gone to, whether it's gone to a proper person or whether the application is being lost or something. So there is no transparency across the system. If the requested application got lost, user has to again fill up the application. Okay, so again he has to go through the entire process. No way to know the status of his request or with whom it's pending. So there is a no way where user can track the status of his request. Lot of paper wastage which directly or indirectly affects the environment. Now what is the solution we are proposing? The transferring the entire structure to a digital world. When we see a digital world, it's basically a IT. Okay, dynamic workflow system will be a web based system. Okay, so we are developing a web based portal where user can apply his request online. So it's not necessary that user has to go to a specific location, go to a reception or office and apply for a request. So with this he can, sitting at a home also, he can apply the request because it's a web based portal. So that is one advantage. Again, the second advantage is no use of paper. So we are not using paper anywhere. Okay, so all the things will be online and automated. Dynamic workflow can be implemented in organization, school, college. So it's basically a very general idea where you can implement it in any organization, school, colleges or offices. In this, the user request will be passed through the certain levels of approval. Now basically in an organization there is a hierarchy. Okay, so let's say we have a developer has a team lead has a project manager, and then the higher DU lead. So this is a hierarchy, this is a level. So when an employee applies for a leave application, it will go to a team lead. When team lead approves, it go to a project manager. When project manager approves, it goes to a higher lead. So that is a level. So we have provided that facility in this web portal so that it can be used in an organization also. Okay, in case of schools and colleges, it goes to a class teacher, it goes to a head of department, and then finally it is approved. So all this flexibility has been given here. The user can at any point of time can track the status of his request and with whom it's pending. So if user want to know the status of his request, whether it's pending with a class teacher or whether it's pending with the HOD, he can directly go through online and he can track. Again, there is one more facility that is being provided here, is basically SMS notification. Whenever a teacher or a project lead, anyone approves this request, a SMS will be sent to user mobile giving the notification that this request has been approved or rejected. Okay, so user will be at a time to time will be notified accordingly. The user will also come to know the reason for the rejection of his request, if any. Okay, if the request is rejected, then there is a compulsion for the rejector to specify the reason why the request has been rejected. So user will know the reason for rejection. User will also get an SMS on his mobile whenever a request is sent from one level to other, approved or rejected. Okay, so he will get a SMS notification. This will keep the user updated about the status of his request. Now let's see the block diagram. So basically this is a very high level block diagram. Okay, so we have a user here. Okay, user will interface with the dynamic workflow system. Now at the back end, these are the certain modules. So we have a request processing logic. Now request processing logic is basically it deals with to pass a request from one level to another. Okay, if at a level 1 there are multiple persons, so it will, the request will go to the person which has a minimum number of requests pending with it. So all those logic is resided in request processing logic, and it will use with the help of a database, because in a database we are storing all this information. Okay, and then it will communicate with the SMS module to send a SMS notification to the user. So basically user, the applicant, will only be dealing with the directly dealing with the dynamic workflow system. At the back end, all this module will be running, which will not be visible to the user. Clear? Now let's go to the flowchart. So what user will do, user will first log in. Okay, now it will check whether the user is valid or not. If no, then it will again show him the valid form. If the user is valid, then the application will load the user profile. Okay, and it will display the menu. Now the menu, basically at a very high level, it will have a 3 menus. That's a leave application, resource procurement, or request status. Okay, now if it's a leave application, then enter the leave details, from what date till to date, what is the reason, and validate the dates. Are dates valid? If no, then display invalid details. If yes, then display submitted request, and it will go to the B. Now B is again here, so it will again display the same menu. Now if the request is not a leave application, if it's a resource procurement, to check, enter the resource details, validate fields, are the fields valid? If no, then display invalid details, else it will go to the display requested submit, and it will again go to the display menu. If again the menu clicked is not a resource procurement, it can be a request status. So if it's a request status, load user request and status. It will load the status of the request. Okay, display user request and status, and it will go to the B. If the option is not in among the 3, then it can be a logout. So if it's a logout, then it's a stop. Clear? So technical implementation. Now this project will be implemented in a .NET. Now since it's a web-based portal, okay, so it will be implemented in ASP.NET, and the language which we will be using is the C#. So basically .NET is a language independent platform where you can code in multiple languages. The language which the project will which we will be using to implement this project will be C#. The backend will be MS SQL Server. Okay, so when I say a backend, it's basically includes a database. So database will be MS SQL Server. Okay. Hardware and software requirements. So what are the hardware? So any Pentium 4 or above processor will help this project. Minimum 256 MB of RAM is required, minimum 20 GB of hard disk, and a GSM modem. Okay, so just for sending and receiving a SMS. Software details includes Windows 2000 or above. Minimum .NET Framework 3.5 is required, Microsoft Visual Studio for developing the project, MS SQL Server 2000 as a database, and a web browser to run the project. Features. The features include some messaging support, so you will get a message and all those things. Online submission of request and approval, so you can submit it from anywhere at any point of time, okay, irrespective of the location or irrespective of the time. Unique profile for each user. Each user will be having a unique profile where he can update his password, his details, and all those things. Then there will be a forum kind of facility provided where user can post his blogs and all those things. A request status will be given through user through SMS. Advantage, save time. So user will be saving a lot of time because user does not have to go to the particular location, particular reception office, fill up the form and all those things. High level GUI. So basically the GUI is very simple and it's very efficient, where a simple user, okay, if a user is going for the first time, he will able to understand how to operate that form or how to fill up that form. Simplicity, the design is kept as much as simple, so that since it's a web based portal, if even if your internet connection is very low, the page will be loaded fast. Okay, so that's a simplicity. Cost efficient, since we are not using any paper thing and any all the process is automated, so it's basically saving the cost. And then it is supporting the green IT. Future development will include the current dynamic workflow does not support customization. There will be predefined inbuilt modules. So what does it mean is basically right now we have only two modules, that is a leave and a resource. If let's say I have to add some other module, okay, so current version does not support it. So basically future enhancement will also include, you can include other module also. The enhancement to this will be the customization, wherein administrator can add different modules depending on the needs of an organization. So there will be a kind of admin login where administrator can add a module, update a module or edit a module. User can submit his request through SMS using a certain predefined keywords. Okay, so by SMS you can actually apply for a leave without logging into your profile or without going to a web-based portal. You can apply through a SMS. Application, it's a corporate offices, organizations, school, colleges, where we have a kind of a application thing. Okay, so everywhere this can be used. Okay, so thanks for listening. So